Deep in the heart of Ontario, nestled among towering pines and shimmering lakes, lies a small community of cozy cottages. The air is always crisp, filled with the scent of pine needles and damp earth. It's a place where city dwellers escape to find peace, to reconnect with nature, and to forget the worries of everyday life. But for some, the peace is shattered by experiences that defy explanation, leaving them with a chilling sense of dread that lingers long after the summer sun fades. My older brother Mark and I spent our summers exploring the woods around our cabin. Our friend Brandon, who lived in the next cabin over, often joined our adventures. One humid afternoon, we decided to venture deeper into the woods than we ever had before. The air grew thick and heavy as we pushed through the undergrowth, the sunlight barely penetrating the dense canopy above. We stumbled upon a clearing, a circle of bare earth devoid of any vegetation. In the center sat a large moss-covered rock. As we approached, a low growl echoed through the silent woods. Our blood ran cold. The growl seemed to be coming from the rock itself. We froze, our eyes wide with terror. The growl grew louder, morphing into a guttural snarl that sent shivers down our spines. I turned and ran, my heart pounding in my chest. I didn't stop until I reached the safety of our cabin. Mark and Brandon stumbled in soon after, their faces pale with fear. We never spoke of what we heard that day, but the memory of that chilling growl still haunts my dreams. The nightmares started soon after that day in the woods. Each night I found myself trapped in a dark and suffocating forest. The air was thick with the smell of decay, and the only sound was the beating of my own heart. Then I would see her, a woman in a long white dress, her face obscured by shadow. Her eyes glowed with an eerie light, and her voice, a rasping whisper, sent chills down my spine. She spoke of things I couldn't understand, of darkness and despair. One night the dream changed. The woman in white was closer than ever, her cold, bony fingers reaching for me. I closed my eyes and cried out, begging for the nightmare to end. When I opened my eyes, she was gone. In her place stood a figure bathed in golden light. A sense of peace washed over me. A feeling of love and protection so powerful that it banished the terror that had gripped me for so long. I woke up that morning feeling strangely safe, my fear replaced by a newfound faith. My relationship with my parents had always been strained. Their constant arguments and icy silences created a suffocating atmosphere in our house. So, when my friend Josh invited me to spend a week at his family's cabin, I jumped at the chance to escape. Josh's parents were warm and welcoming, their laughter a stark contrast to the tense silence I was used to. One night, restless and unable to sleep, I decided to go for a walk. The moon was hidden behind a thick blanket of clouds, plunging the woods into an almost impenetrable darkness. As I walked, I noticed a faint light flickering in the distance. As I got closer, I realized it was coming from an old, dilapidated cabin. I cautiously approached, drawn by a strange sense of curiosity. Peering through a crack in the boarded-up window, I saw an old woman sitting alone in a rocking chair, her face etched with a mixture of sadness and fear. Her eyes met mine, and she frantically motioned for me to go away. Suddenly, I heard a loud crash from inside the cabin. The old woman screamed. Without hesitation, I ran to the back of the cabin and kicked in the flimsy back door. The old woman was cowering in the corner, a fallen bookshelf lying in the middle of the room. I helped her up and made sure she was okay before leaving her to clean up the mess. The next day, I saw the old woman again at the general store in town. She smiled warmly at me, her eyes filled with gratitude. She never spoke of what happened that night, but her grateful gaze was enough to tell me that I had done the right thing. The peace and tranquility of the woods can be deceiving. Behind the idyllic facade lies a darkness, a realm where the lines between reality and nightmare blur. Are the strange occurrences and eerie encounters merely figments of our imaginations, fueled by campfire stories and overactive minds? Or is there something more sinister lurking in the shadows, something that preys on our deepest fears and challenges our understanding of the world? Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. A chilling reminder that some mysteries are best left unsolved. So the next time you find yourself surrounded by the stillness of the woods, remember the stories. Listen closely to the whispers of the wind through the trees and keep your eyes peeled for any sign of movement in the shadows. You never know what might be watching you.